Well, here we are again on a Friday at some point in your life, morning, lunch, evening. But for Drew and I, we are eager to talk about this fourth episode on suffering. Um, and so, Drew, good to see you.
Good to be with you, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
Where are you today? I know you were in Chicago last Friday. Where are you today?
I am looking at a billboard on the highway that says home of Miranda Lambert. I am in Lindale, Texas.
Wow, you're getting around, man. That's great. All right. Well, listen. This, I got to give you total credit for this. You're the one who said, "Hey, I'd like to talk about this the next time." So, uh, let me just see if I can tee you up a little bit. Essentially, last week you talked about what you and Susan were going through, and those things that have sustained you and Susan through just some difficult seasons in life. This week, you want to talk about suffering, but you want to look at it from a different angle. So, talk to us about what you feel like the Lord's laid on your heart, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, just a brief point of levity. Speaking of suffering, talking about the golf course, you may remember me writing a devotion about playing in 108-degree heat to win a free quarter zip. Well, here it is. Not bad, huh? It
That's
actually
just
made it out
like
of the
you, man.
wash. Yeah, it's actually
Yeah,
wearable.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we talked about Susan and me last week, but really, yeah, I wanted to turn it around and look at others in the light of Philippians 2, 3, and 4. Is in humility, value others more highly than yourselves, and look out to their interests. And so, just had a couple of points thinking about that with people who suffer. So, the first point is an encouragement. Think about James 1:19, where he says, "Be quick to listen, slow to speak." And when I'm talking here today, I'm talking to myself as well as everyone else. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that. But I know we can tend to have we have a tendency to find the right words to speak to someone who is in pain or who is in suffering. And our job is not to fix someone else's suffering. Our job is to carry each other's burdens. And so that doesn't necessarily mean you have to find the right words to say. Sometimes listening is more powerful than speaking. And then the other one that I just want to talk about is our friend Randy Wolf. He loves saying that everybody has a story. Rick Warren in Purpose Driven Life talks about difficult people. He calls them EGRs, which is short for extra grace required. And someone may come to your mind just from hearing that term. But you know what? I don't think people just wake up and want to be difficult. I think there's some pain and some suffering behind that which causes them to act that way. And so, like we say, extra grace required is the best way to handle that, in my opinion, is rather than pain avoidance, is lean into the pain and try to find out what is causing that difficulty. And I mean, you never know what could come out of those interactions. You may be able to carry some of their burden, or what about this? What if by digging deeper into their story, you find out they can actually help carry some of your burden?
Huh. Drew, that's very insightful and convicting, to be frank. It's really easy to get caught up in self and forget to look for opportunities to see others and where they might be suffering. And as you say, lean into it. I remember years ago as a young pastor, an older pastor said to me, Dennis, most people will never remember your best or your worst sermons. What they're going to remember is that you were there at 5 o'clock in the morning at the hospital when just before they went into surgery, or you were at the hospital right after a terrible accident to a family member. And so it's really just a ministry of presence. Not that the Lord won't give us words of comfort, He obviously will. But the primary thing is simply being there, caring, and doing your best to lean in, as you say. Well, Drew, thanks, brother. Thanks for again for your time. Um, we'll see where the Lord goes from here for episode 5. But I sure hope this particular episode encourages all of our Links family and friends to remember that the Lord's called us out of the world, but he does that in order to send us back into the world very different than he found us, in order to minister to others. And so, Drew, blessings, brothers, safe travels.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dennis.
You got it. And to all our Links family and friends, God bless. Hope you have a marvelous and enriching weekend, especially in the things of Christ. God bless.